And there's a visit to the Pan-African Parliament, and some of these questions can also be asked directly, also about the relationships to the specific countries that were, for instance, mentioned yesterday. Thank you. Do we have one more voice that wants to come in, or are we satisfied? Yeah.
Thank you very much. My name is Osman Mualim from Somalia. Actually, yesterday afternoon, the discussion that we had as a group to share our experience and reflected what we are doing in our home country in terms of parliament monitoring. One question came to my mind was that how Pan-African Parliament can standardize it or come up a strategy which can support the civil society engagement to the parliament and make it one standard that can apply most of us and also our parliaments actually accepted on that standard procedures of monitoring parliament and engagement to parliament. Is there a way Pan-African Parliament can support and come up set of that strategy can standardize our engagement to the parliament? Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that's exciting. That a lot of bubbling up around the Pan-African Parliament and kind of taking all of that, I think, directly into the visit. And some of the last question now you raise also links to the morning. So we have quite a tight morning. We're going to jump in straight away. I've got it up here so that you can also just see and follow me. So we're starting here with our journey along the river, engaging regional parliaments. Don't take the icons too seriously. I'm just realizing they might be a bit confusing. There's a lot of money there. But so engaging regional parliaments, what's our experience of regional parliaments? So Lebogang will take over now and ably take us through some of the experiences with the regional parliaments. And then we will have an hour for that, and then we'll move on after break might be there, yeah. And then we'll move on to the open parliaments with 3 case studies, Somalia, Zambia, and Benin. Also the invitation then to contribute your own stories of engaging your own national parliaments and in terms of open parliament and open government initiatives. And then the last session of the morning, the Kafa gathering together, Khalid will lead the thematic breakout sessions, and there'll be one on African elections and change, so topics that were also raised yesterday already, and then reclaiming the narrative and opening the doors of parliament, much more questions around also the relationship with media, the relationship between civics and the public space, and government efforts to open or close that space. And then artificial intelligence is in our lives. And there's no two ways about it. One has to engage it. One may like it or not, but it will impact governance significantly. And so Timothy and his team will lead an exploration into technology and the impact. So that will be our morning. So it will require a little bit of rigor and discipline of us to keep those rounded. And then we will have a lovely lunch, and the rest of the afternoon is the visit to the Pan-African Parliament. So that's simple. We'll leave at 2:30 from here, and then return at 5 and not come back together here until tomorrow morning. Then tomorrow morning we'll have time to process and reflect and think a little bit about that visit and the day. So thank you very much. I'm going to call on Lebogang and hand over straight away.
Thank you very much, Unga, and a very good morning to you all. I was expecting more energy than that. It's still very early in the morning. Morning, everyone. Thank you very much. My name is Lebogang Kenneth Mabuto. You may just call me Lebo. I am standing here representing the Southern African Council of Non-Governmental Organizations, or as it's more commonly known, the SADC Council of NGOs. I'm the executive director of the organization, and we are coming to the end of the year very soon, and you know, contract renewals and all of that, so we need to start sucking up to the right people. So do permit me to recognize members of my board who are here in their capacity as leaders of the national platforms. We have the president of the Southern African Council of NGOs, Mr. Simao Tila, seated over there. Maybe you can just wave. And we have the treasurer, Mr. Sekonyela Mapecha from Lesotho. Mr. Simao is from Mozambique. And we also have Ms. Elisa from Madagascar. I'm very happy to have my bosses in the room, and I hope with that little psyching up, my contract will be renewed. So I just want to thank PMG as well as APMON for giving us the opportunity to be part of these proceedings, part of such a significant convening. Looking at the fact that in Southern Africa we've been lagging a little bit behind our counterparts in other regions when it comes to especially the Open Parliament Index. So it's a very good thing. When PMG approached us, I think it was late last year or early this year, we were very happy for the opportunity to partner with them in giving them access to our national platforms and networks, to try and start with this project, to try and start the country networks on parliamentary monitoring and engagement. And we were also given the responsibility as the SADC Council to engage with the SADC Parliament, formerly the SADC PF. And we are very happy that there have been quite significant strides in ensuring that the SADC PF is now recognized as a parliament. We just had an extra signing on by Madagascar at the recently ended summit, the SADC summit, and we have, I think we're about 95, 96% of the way there, even though it's still without legislative powers, but we do recognize the milestone reached in transitioning from being a forum into a fully recognized parliament, and we'll continue engaging and advocating for it to be capacitated as necessary. For today's session, as they are setting up for the panel, we will be looking at how civil society and legislatures need to have strategic partnerships. And we had hoped to have representatives from different regions representing the regional parliaments in those regions. But I am told that at the very last minute, most of them pulled out or indicated that they are unavailable. Which I think highlights the need for such a conversation. It highlights the gap that exists and how we need to continue effectively engaging to bridge that gap. So we will be delving into the underpinnings of civil society legislature partnerships, which I believe are foundational to open governance. These partnerships embody principles of transparency, ensuring public access to legislative processes, participation, enabling civil society input in policy making and accountability, holding legislators accountable or responsible through monitoring and inclusion, and amplifying diverse voices in policy making, particularly from the marginalized communities or groups. And in our context, such collaborations are vital for addressing regional integration challenges, combating corruption, and advancing sustainable development goals. And then we are honored today to have a very good panel. We will be having a representative from the Open Government Partnership, bringing continental or global insights on multi-stakeholder reforms. We will have a civil society leader from the East Africa region, highlighting grassroots monitoring in the region, and we will have a counterpart from West Africa, focusing on community-driven accountability, and a representative from Southern Africa addressing localized engagement strategies. As I've mentioned, we regret that representatives from key parliamentary structures in these regions, such as IALA, the ECOWAS Parliament, and the SADC Parliamentary Forum, could not honor our invitation. So, as I also mentioned, their absence underscores the need for renewed commitment to inclusive dialogues such as this one. So from the Open Government Partnership, just to check if my panelists are in the room, as I invite them to come and take their seats up front, I believe we have Khotatso Semela. Oh, thank you, Khotatso, please join us. And then we'll be having Ben from APMON, representing West Africa. Is he in the room? Oh, there he is coming. Then we have Jacob Makambwe, from Southern Africa. And finally, we have my brother Gitungu Wamere from East Africa. Please come and take your seats. May we give them a round of applause, please. Okay, all right. Sure. Testing. Okay, thank you very much. I think we can start by giving each of the panelists just a few seconds to introduce themselves, tell us where they are from, what they do. Yes, and then we can pick up the conversation from there. We only have an hour. I think I've already eaten about 5 to 10 minutes of that, so I will be talking less from this point onwards. Let me start with Gitungu.
Good morning. Yeah, my name is Gitungu Wamere from Kenya, serving at Mzalendo Trust as the program coordinator. Thank you for this opportunity.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Benjamin Upokwaye. I'm with Parliamentary Network Africa. I also help coordinate the APMON. Thank you.
Good morning, Khotsong Dumelang, Sanbonan Molweni. My name is Matsidi Khotatso Semela. I'm based here in South Africa. I'm from the Open Government Partnership, and my role there is twofold, actually. The lead for the Africa work that the OGP does. We have a model called a leader amongst equals. So I have two colleagues that I work very closely with, one based in Nairobi and the other one based in Morocco. And each of us carry responsibilities for regional coordination support from the Open Government Support Unit. Just to say briefly who the Open Government Partnership is, I'm very happy to see some friends here that know about the OGP, and I'm sure I will meet others that know about the OGP, given that this is a constituent from civil society. Open Government Partnership is a global platform of 77 member countries globally, of which 17 are from Africa, and over thousands of civil society organizations. Essentially, our work is basically concerned with creating a platform and driving the idea that when civil society and governments come together to shape and to implement reforms, the development outcomes are better. So that is essentially what we do, is we provide that space, and we provide motivation as well as tools, as well as mechanisms. Some of you may know that we have a very important moment coming up in October, which is our global summit in Spain. We'll have over 4,000 reformers, as we call them, from across the globe who'll come together. We're very excited about that. We're excited that one of the key moments of that global summit will be an open parliament day. I'm sure some of you will be there on the first day of the summit itself. And it's a very important moment to demonstrate the important role that parliaments also play as part of the state in terms of this idea of open government. So with those very few remarks, I hope of just giving you a sense of where I'm coming from and who I am, I want to thank the organizers and thank all of you, and I look forward to a really interesting conversation. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jacob Makambwe. I come from Zambia. I'm working with the Zambia Council for Social Development. But again, also I must mention that I work also in Southern Africa, Secretary General for the Southern Africa Cross-Border Traders Association, which is actually a brainchild of South Single, advocating for regional policies around trade within the SADC region. And on this particular platform, working with the Zambia Council in Zambia, is that it's a membership-driven organization that provides a platform for citizens' participation in different national issues, including engagement with different sectors of government, and including Parliament. So I'm happy to be here, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So just to set our foundation, I think I'm going to start with the rose among the thorns. And at the risk of maybe coming across as prescriptive, I'd want for us to get maybe a global outlook and set a framework within which we'll be engaging on this particular question, building on building effective partnerships. So drawing from your experiences and observations, as well as maybe your understanding and expertise of the OGP's co-creation model, where governments and civil society jointly develop action plans, what specific technical mechanisms, such as joint committees or digital platforms, has your organization implemented or hopes to implement to facilitate ongoing dialogue between civil society and legislatures in your sphere or in your context of work?
Thank you very much. I've never been called a rose amongst thorns. I don't know if my brothers are really thorns, but they're looking pretty good to me, so I don't think they're thorns. I think that, what I will speak to really is sort of broad stroke, what we've seen in the experience in terms of the open parliament work that's emerged, not just in Africa, but globally. One of the things that's quite significant and powerful is having within the Open Parliament plan. There are sectors that are specifically being focused on. That enables for there to be ongoing, not just co-creation, but collaboration. In many instances, the co-creation is sort of a low-hanging fruit and is done quite well. Where there are challenges in terms of the civil society and parliament interaction, or civil society and the executive interaction, actually, is in the implementation of the actual reforms themselves. That's where it becomes challenging. And it's through these structured mechanisms, as I indicated, through working groups around specific themes of common interest, like budget. Budget is a big one that is quite significant. And also through things like digital collaboration dashboards that allow you to track commitments, that allow you to see how are we doing, you know, as the collective or as the co-collaborators, the civil society actors in parliament, but also that allow for the public to see what is happening. And one of the instruments that's important in terms of that public monitoring is a platform called the Multi-Stakeholder Forum. So the Multi-Stakeholder Forum is a space where all of those reformers, civil society, government, civil society, parliamentary actors can come together and say, okay, collectively, what is the reform agenda that has been built? Those digital collaboration dashboards can enable us to track for ourselves as the reformers driving the reforms, as well as the public. So with those just sort of three suggestions, on the kinds of structured mechanisms that can be put into place, I will hand it back over to you. Thanks.
Thank you very much. And now maybe to take it to our regions, just based on the foundation set, which of these strategies or mechanisms exist in your region? I'll be starting with Kitungu. And how have these led to tangible policy changes, like improved budget transparency? What relatable success stories can you share to inspire replication across our region? If these are aspirational in nature, then tell us how you think they may be effective if well implemented. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think I will start from where she has stopped. Mzalendo Trust is an organization in Kenya. We are the civil society lead in the Open Government Partnership initiative. I will speak to some of the successes that we've had, especially in our engagement with Parliament and in the implementation of the action plans in our country. So we have been the CSO lead in the implementation. So far as a country, we have 5 national action plans. So we have been the CSO lead in the implementation of the 4th action plan and now the 5th action plan. So in the implementation of the 4th action plan, one of the major success that we can flag and say we achieved is there was a creation in our national parliament. There was a creation of the OGP caucus within Parliament, both the Senate, a caucus that comprises members of Parliament in the Senate and in the National Assembly. So this caucus helps in inculcating open government values in Parliament, and also creating that linkage between CSOs and Parliament. So, and some of the commitments that we have put for ourselves in both the 4th National Action Plan and the 5th National Action Plan, this particular caucus has been leading in initiating those conversations in Parliament. Also, one of the things in initiating openness, that is fiscal openness, legislative openness within Parliament, we have, like now in the 5th National Action Plan, we have like what she has spoken about, like having a portal that will ensure that public debt has been a conversation in Kenya, across Africa, and I think all over the world. So in the 5th National Action Plan, we have a commitment whereby we shall create a portal that ensures access to information of public debt information. So we are in the process of doing that. Of course, there are other things that we have committed ourselves to do as civil society and parliament, but we have not been in a position to achieve. One of them is, I think, the law on public participation, which has been work in progress. I think even since the second National Action Plan, now we're in the fifth National Action Plan, it has not happened. So, and also the partnership has been good since the co-creation of all the action plans has been a collaboration. So all government institutions have been trying to appear during the process of co-creation. So the National Action Plans has been a collaboration between the civil society and government institutions, including Parliament. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So for us at Parliamentary Network Africa, also working with the national parliaments in Ghana and also with the regional parliaments, especially ECOWAS. Let me start from the national parliaments. We, from the past, have also engaged the parliaments to the extent that we supported Parliament to set up an open parliament team. And so in the spirit of co-creation, just so that, right from the beginning, at the point where we even undertook a survey to understand the level of understanding of MPs and the staff of parliaments when it comes to the issues of OGP or open parliament generally, the results were not encouraging. And so to take a step, to take an action, we had to engage stakeholders in the parliaments, of course, MPs, so that we formed this team. And as I speak to you, out of this team, we've been able to accomplish things like also inaugurating the Open Parliament caucus in Parliament, where you have members of Parliament who have committed themselves to be champions of open parliaments in Ghana. And so we engage the committee, we engage this caucus on certain activities and certain actions that we know would help to open up Parliament. Just last 2 months, Parliament launched its Open Parliament Action Plan, which is the first of its kind, the first time that Parliament of Ghana is launching its own action plan. Initially, we've had to include the bits and pieces in the National OGP Action Plan, but through the support that we gave to the committee or the team, and also with the help of some leaders in Parliament and all of that, we've been able to launch this. Apart from that, we also have been able to support the Parliament to implement or organize 2 open Parliament weeks, right? So we believe that this is one of the platforms that helps citizens or the public to understand the workings of Parliament, to understand what their representatives do in Parliament. And so during this week, we allow, or Parliament allows for citizens to attend Parliament, to learn from the history, to learn from the processes and the practice that goes on in Parliament, basically. And just last 2 months, we did the second one, actually, and we are always happy to know that Parliament is willing to collaborate, is willing to work with us. And so when it comes to the spirit of co-creation, I believe that Parliament in Ghana has been doing well. And so we also, from the civil society, also try as much as possible using or leveraging the Ghana Pemo network to also engage them, to support them. Maybe quickly to ECOWAS parliaments, where we haven't succeeded a lot, I must be honest, because of some of the challenges in working with these regional parliaments. Even though, yes, sometimes internally also, there are certain bottlenecks and all of that, but we tend to engage through various routes where we can reach, and so we are looking at partnering with certain departments in there to look at how we can also take the the conversations to that parliament. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you very much. And maybe also getting from your remarks around what we could actually be doing as a co-creation model and drawing from the OGP, I think that we really need to develop those mechanisms that are not just ad hoc, but we need these mechanisms that are embedded in practice. A concrete example in Zambia is our initiative that we've been running with called the Beyond the Numbers project, making the budget work for the people. This particular project has enabled previously marginalized citizens or groups to participate in the budget analysis and tracking, and also by forming community budget groups that are now linking the communities and the lawmakers in making sure that they participate in the national budget process. So these groups make submissions to Parliament, and also they ensure that perspectives from rural and vulnerable communities are actually there to inform the national budget discussions. Of course, we're looking at how changes sometimes take a lot of time. Continuous engagement with Parliament has actually yielded a little bit of efforts into making sure that Parliament are also becoming much more transparent in making sure that citizens are accorded opportunities for participating and also to see what they're able to put in the national budget processes. I think maybe the key takeaways in this particular partnership with the legislature and the civil society is that I think the dialogue that we have created at national level is actually grounded on understanding what are the needs of the citizens that the parliamentarians themselves as legislatures are supposed to be implementing when they are in Parliament. And this has actually created platforms which we have continually allowed the citizens to participate during the process of budget submissions and any other different dialogues, around civil society and the legislature in Zambia. One of the other critical, role that we play as Zambia Council of Social Development is really to look at how we are able to provide diverse platforms for different NGOs across all provinces to make sure that they can actually foster, the vibrant, independent, and well-coordinated civil society in making sure that they're able to participate in different national issues. One issue that the organization is actually doing, has been doing, is really to look at the bridging the governance gaps around the participation of civil society. And of course, we've seen there's been a lot of shrinking civic space. One example that we have in our country was the introduction of a restrictive legislation, which is the NGO Act, that actually poses a risk for the operations of civil society in Zambia. And in this particular bill, we've actually challenged, and I think through collaboration with civil society organizations as consortiums, we've actually challenged this particular bill and have interactions with the legislature, and we've seen this particular bill being deferred together with another legislation of the constitutional amendment, Bill number 7,